good day, and welcome back to the Flying Doctor channel. Today, I'm in Fiji, as you can see in the background, and we'll be flying in none other than Fiji Airlines on our way back home to Los Angeles. We'll be on one of their A350-900s. Their Boeing 737 MAX 8s don't reach that far. And I'll be in economy class. Even though yesterday was all rainy and cloudy with no sunshine in sight, I did manage to do a bit of exploring. So while I go check in and drop some bags off, let me show you a bit of my adventurizing. Sit back, relax, get ready for the flight review.
After a mad dash through Melbourne, Gold Coast, Brisbane, and a day in Auckland, it was time to relax a bit. We were privileged enough to book 2 nights at Sofitel Resort, located about 30 minutes away from the airport. While it was cloudy and rainy during the 2 days we were there, the property was beautiful, and I was really impressed with the friendliness and hospitality of every single staff member on site. We visited about 10 days before Christmas, and the resort had some decorations in their main lobby. While Callie took the relaxation route during the day, I opted for the exploration option and hopped in the rental car with no destination in mind. The drive started off relatively easygoing without any notable sights, so I decided to take the trip off the main road that circles the island and venture more inland. This is when my internal monologue began arguing with itself over my desire to explore and whether it was smart to do this in a rental car. I eventually found myself at a decision point. Do I risk getting myself stuck and attempt to cross what appears to be a very muddy and narrow pass with my compact 2-wheel drive rental car? Or play it safe and backtrack to a safer road? With patchy cell service and knowing I wasn't near anyone who could assist me, I took the safe route and eventually returned to the hotel. After a night's sleep, the next day we hung around the resort and made the most of the soggy weather. This resort we are staying at conveniently had a Fiji Airways check-in counter. We were able to check our bag, have our boarding passes printed, and complete any onward journey paperwork at the resort. The staff here did weigh our carry-on and personal item bags, so we did have to do some shifting around a bit, but overall, a very helpful service. We headed off to the airport with the goal of locating a car wash. Even though it is a rental car, I was warned by the staff to return the car in similar condition to how I received it. They explicitly told me I would be charged for a cleaning service if the vehicle was dirty. All of the car wash locations we passed were hand wash service only, and most were closed as it was a Sunday. We waited at one location for around 30 minutes before biting the bullet and simply returning the car to the rental center. The company did charge me around $30 to clean the car. Welcome to the International Check-in Hall of Nadi Airport. We had already checked our bag and had boarding passes in hand, so we were able to head straight to security. You know, something happened that prompted this sign. Don't be that person.
Alright, made it into the airport. Security was a breeze. We're very early for our flight, and made it through duty free without doing too much damage. We already went down to the Fiji Airways Premier Lounge, and they were able to check us in. We did arrive more than 3 hours prior to our departure, so they won't let us into the lounge, but they did check us in and told us once it was our time to enter, we could just walk right in. So we'll see how that goes, but it looks very nice from the outside of the lounge. The check-in area reminds me a lot of the Centurion lounges with that living wall entrance. But yeah, we'll see what the inside looks like. I've seen some pretty good reviews, but just gonna sit down and relax a bit here in the main departures lounge and do some people spotting, I guess.
There's not much exploring to do once airside at Nadi Airport. Essentially, it's one large open room with standard airport seating in the middle surrounded by shops and eateries. Downstairs you'll find the Fiji Airways Lounge, an Air New Zealand lounge, and a quiet lounge. I get the feeling this used to be a contract lounge space. There are various seating options, solo desks for getting work done, uniquely shaped cubbies to relax in, and the remnants of what appears to be an old bar or service desk. I was antsy though, and was counting the minutes down to when we were able to enter the Fiji Airways Lounge. Our time had come, and yes, we were able to simply walk in after the agent behind the desk recognized us. Once you enter, the living wall continues on your right as the lounge space opens up on the left. As you continue to walk in, on your right you'll find tables for eating, the buffet, and the bar, which is where we were headed to book the shower. After getting on the wait list, we found a place to sit down and then ventured over to the food area. I had a little of the maple pecan chicken and the kung pao tofu, both of which were very flavorful. I ended up going back for more of the tofu actually. Wines, beers, and spirits were available behind the bar, and it's fair to say I had a few glasses of wine. My time for the shower had arrived, and the shower attendant politely asked if I would do my best to limit my time to 10 minutes. Clearly, this is an ongoing issue the lounge faces, as it was obvious the room had just been wiped down prior to me entering, though everything was clean. I did my part and was in and out under 10, opting to check out the men's room while brushing my teeth. We spent roughly 30 more minutes in the lounge before it was time to head off to the gate, which was a much less pleasant atmosphere than where we just were waiting. It's late in the evening, many people are returning home from holiday, and it's a crowded, loud environment. When our zone was called, we proceeded to the gate agents, showed our passports, scanned our boarding passes, and were let through to get a glimpse of the aircraft taking us north and east to Los Angeles. Tonight's flight will be on board Delta Quebec Foxtrot Alpha Juliet, a 6-year-old A350-900. We will pass west of Samoa and Kiribati and east of Hawaii on the 5,525-mile journey, which will take 10 hours and 21 minutes from pushback to parking. Boarding began at door 2, just behind the 33 business class seats in the forward cabin, but most passengers will be in one of the 301 economy seats.
Alright, we made it on board after I fell asleep in the lounge with my headphones on. We're on the aircraft, Zone E, one of the last to board, I believe, and it was a bit of a madhouse at the boarding zone, but they had one very stern woman at the entrance to the actual boarding lane, ensuring that passengers in the correct zone were boarding at the right time. So that was a bit nice, I guess, ensuring people followed the rules. Anyways, we're on board the aircraft. As you can see, nice looking cabin, nice tropical looking colors filling the cabin via the lights as well as the fabric on the seats. We'll go over all the details of the seat once we get airborne. I'm going to do my best to stay awake for the meal service. Even though I did eat at the lounge, I was pleasantly surprised with the quality of the food at the lounge. Anyways, hoping here that this aisle seat remains empty for the entirety of the flight. We will see if that turns out to be true.
Doors were closed, and I was happy to find we had an empty seat. Callie wasn't wasting any time and strapped herself in for the ride. The crew walked through the aisles performing their final safety checks, and we were pushed back about 37 minutes behind schedule. The cabin lights were dimmed, and tonight the views out the window were made up of a modest number of city lights. Shortly after takeoff, the crew handed out some warm towelettes, which I found to be a nice touch, especially in economy. Now that we're airborne, let me give you a seat tour. The seats are upholstered in a two-toned fabric, the blue likely symbolizing the color of the ocean water surrounding parts of the island. Atop each seat were a blanket and pillow. Once seated, I found the legroom to be standard. Tray tables installed in this aircraft are bifold and extend slightly once deployed. You'll find the safety card and a duty-free shopping magazine in the seatback pocket. I'll show you more of the IFE later, but there was a point during the flight where I very briefly questioned whether or not I had entered the afterlife or crossed into a different dimension. Maybe I did and found a route back to this timeline. You'll never know. Dinner was served shortly after the towelette was handed out. It was a pizza, and I'm not a huge fan of that meal, so I opted for sleep instead.
Well, a very good morning. I did end up getting to some sleep. That is one of the blessings of having an empty seat next to you. It is breakfast time. There were two different options, waffles or the egg. Actually, three options: scrambled eggs, egg frittata, or waffles. I went for the egg frittata. So let's go ahead, unwrap, and dig in. Alrighty, well there it is. Doesn't look half bad. Kind of small in the portions in terms of the main meal, but we'll see how it tastes. Alright, so the main had some flavor. The frittata was a bit stiff, firm in texture. Not really what I've come to know as a standard frittata texture, but it all had a decent taste. It's a decent breakfast. I think that was the larger portion of the two meals offered on board this flight. Pretty standard economy meal. We'll just leave it at that. Nothing bad about it. It was food. It was fresh. Had some flavor. So, what more could you want in a meal?
With a meal in my stomach and having gotten decent sleep, let's go over the IFE system. The screen itself is quite large and responsive. There were a handful of games to pass the time with. You could browse the duty-free shopping and collect some Fiji Airways swag. Take a look at the menus for other Fiji flights. Browse a multitude of moving pictures. Take a look at the in-flight map and, perhaps the best feature, a tail and belly cam. I didn't find the resolution of either camera high enough to satisfy my AvGeek desires, but it was still my favorite feature of the IFE.
Got about 2.5 hours or so before we get on the ground in LA and get back to reality and work. One of the interesting things about this flight is we left at 10 p.m. on Sunday, and we'll be arriving into LA at noontime the same day. Funny how time zones work. So going back in time.
Right now we are currently 250 miles to Los Angeles International Airport. And shortly we'll be starting our descent. So in behalf of Fiji Airways and the entire crew, I would like to express our gratitude for choosing to fly with us today, and we look forward to welcome you again in our next journey.
Alright, we're just about 45-50 minutes before touchdown, so we'll begin our descent here in 20 minutes or so. We'll be coming in from the south, so we'll probably enter California just north of San Diego before heading inland and making a left-hand turn over Riverside, San Bernardino County, making our way over to LA. Fiji Airways has had some terrific deals lately on flights to and from Fiji from the US, as well as onward connections to Australia. So, that being said, how much did this flight cost? Well, as we dip below the clouds, I'll go into more details on how much I paid for this flight and how much you can expect to pay for a one-way or round-trip ticket.
cabin fire.
Fiji 10 Heavy, SoCal Bridge, reduce speed to 180, expect GLS 25 left.
Reduce speed 180 and expect GLS 25 left.
I wound up using miles for this particular flight. I found a great deal using Qatar Avios, an airline I've never flown with. I ended up transferring Amex points over to Qatar and paying 31,000 Avios for the one-way ticket. That included bags, seat selection, and all of the onboard services. At the time this video is released, you can find similar one-way tickets between LAX and Nadi for $373 US, which rounds up to 7 cents per mile. If you're up for flying from LA to Australia or New Zealand, you can find one-way tickets between $387 and $421, which is quite the steal in my opinion. We were treated to a beautiful arrival into Los Angeles. There was minimal smog and the sun was shining, a beautiful December day. We didn't make up any time for the delayed departure and wound up arriving to the gate 38 minutes behind schedule. This was a factor I had been worrying about since our connecting flight to Atlanta was with a different airline and had a scheduled departure in an hour and a half. We disembarked at 12:50 and raced to grab the bags, proceed through customs, and walk to a different terminal. That was the plan at least. After 30 minutes of waiting, I told Callie to get herself on the flight and I'd stay behind if I couldn't make it. Our final bag slid down onto the baggage carousel. Delta has a cutoff of 45 minutes prior to scheduled departures for bag checks, so I knew the deck was stacked against me. I dropped the bag off, was lucky enough to be selected for secondary screening at TSA, but did make it through and boarded a middle seat for the 4.5-hour ride to Atlanta.
Alright, well that ends a very long journey. But you know what? It's actually the same time of day and the day of the week that we left Fiji. It is not even 10 p.m. on Sunday, December 14, and we departed Sunday, December 14 at 10 p.m. Oh, it's 10:05 p.m. But it's the same day, and we were in Fiji at the same time. I'm in Atlanta right now. There's no time to do any outro in Los Angeles because I had to book it from the Fiji Airways flight back over to Delta. But that sums up our time here with Fiji. So, hope you enjoyed the flight review. Make sure that you find something to enjoy in life. And as always, thanks for watching. See ya.